Loss of 1 from Morris. Seneca Wallace to throw. Darrell Jackson gets the 15, gain of only about 3. He'll have 3rd and long coming up.
Joe, on the point about Randy Moss, throughout his career, particularly after he admitted there were times when he took different plays off, people have questioned his intensity. They think that he's all about himself, but he doesn't really play for a team. When he has a night like this, when he drops passes in the manner he's dropped passes, does that not reinforce the prevailing opinion about Randy Moss that you don't know if he's going 100% all the time?
I think you have to take into consideration the conditions on a night like tonight. It does bring the question up, Tony, but the conditions also neutralize that a bit.
Big 3rd and 6. Wallace hits Hackett again. DJ Hackett. He and Seneca Wallace have been very effective together. 1st down.
Nice job on Chris Carr, number 23 of the Raiders. DJ Hackett puts a good move inside to make the play. Coming from the right part of your screen, good throwing lane for Seneca Wallace. See how the seas just sort of parted in front of him? Clear vision all the way through. Well, as a quarterback, you love to see that. I mean, you don't need to be 8 feet tall to throw that one.
4 catches, 58 yards for Hackett tonight. And Maurice Morris runs for about 2 yards on that carry as Morris gets closer to 100 yards here on the night.
So does that mean you don't want Yao Ming in the huddle becoming your quarterback?
Be a little tough dropping back.
They have an injured player, Robbie Tobeck, the center, 36-year-old out of Wazoo, Washington State, shaken up. To look at him as we step out.
Hi, I'm Tim McCarver, inviting you to watch my show exclusively here on NASN, Europe's #1 channel for North American sports. Please tune in each week as I interview the biggest stars and sports legends. Don't miss Chevrolet's Tim McCarver Show right here on NASN.
Back on this rainy night in Seattle, the injured Seahawk man making his 166th career start, Robbie Tobeck. He and Chris Gray on that offensive front, 36 years old, the 2 oldest offensive linemen in the NFL. So the center is out. Chris Spencer in there to snap. No issues on the exchange, and no gain for Maurice Morris. May have lost a bit. 3rd down coming up.
Speaking of Tobeck, for best costume design, we were pressured to do Tobeck imitating Mike Holmgren, but come on, that doesn't feed the Bulldog. That does! There's the best costume design. Mike Tirico running down the field, loses his balance, and later loses his head, tragically, as his head falls off. So we have an actual Tony Award for you, right? This is for you. I want you to have that. You've won Emmys, I'm sure, but you've never won a Tony.
You have to accept it.
Like, you think for a second I'm taking that?
You're going to leave me hanging here?
Yes.
Come on.
3rd down. And a run for Strong, Max Strong. Stops shy of the 1st down. And we'll have 4th down. The Raider defense comes up again.
I want that.
You know, Joe,
head.
I'll let you have the Tony Award.
No, he wants the
I
head.
didn't earn it.
I'll re-gift it to you.
He wants the big head that was in the sausage race last week.
I want the big head. I will take the head. You earned the Tony.
You should have that.
I would feel it would be bad for me to accept an award that was meant for you.
Yeah, it's the best thing that's happened to me in the 2nd half.
Well,
I can honestly say that.
You're like Andrew Walter.
That's right.
You need something good to happen to you.
Plaquemire to kick into the wind. He struggled kicking this way tonight. That one pretty good. Chris Carr hit before he fielded it. This is going to be a penalty on the Seahawks. Fans are booing. It was the correct call. As Josh Scobie got down there too quick.
It always amazes me that the guy does not have the ball, and now you start to tackle him. I mean, what you want to do is come in with your head up, make sure the guy has possession.
Interference with the opportunity to make the catch, number 33. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
So it'll give the Raiders the ball at the 27-yard line.
Why are they booing that? It's obvious what happened there.
Because they're the 12th man. They can do those things.
Don't know the rule.
Can't do that.
Raiders had their best drive last time. See what they do this time.
San Diego Chargers select Sean Merriman, linebacker, Maryland.
Fueled with ferocity, San Diego's Sean Merriman turned the lights out on the opposition en route to the 2005 Defensive Rookie of the Year award and his first Pro Bowl.
Sean Merriman absolutely tattoos him under the chin. Nowhere to go, tackle. That's the rookie, Sean Merriman.
These guys look fantastic. I'm so proud.
Join the Reebok Hockey Revolution. Visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
Play football. Pro Bowl linebacker Brian Urlacher returns to lead a punishing Chicago Bears defense that ranked second in the NFL in 2005. The Bears produced a league-high 5 defensive Pro Bowlers last year and are determined to use their speed and strength to become the most dominant and feared defense in the league. If defense wins championships, the Bears are primed for domination.
It started raining heavy right about the time the scoring stopped, midway through the second quarter, but the noise of these Seahawks fans traveling through the downpour tonight. 13-0. Raiders off their best drive of the night. Started for 27 after the flag. Walter to Moss. Randy didn't hang on again. It's 3 that he's had his hands on in the second half.
You know, I mean, I've known Randy Moss all the years he's been, 8 years he's been in this league, 9 years he's been in this league.
Roughing the passer, number 51, a blow to the helmet, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's Lofa Tutuku and 2 15-yard penalties back-to-back.
You cannot touch the quarterback. Well,
That's pretty light. That's a tap.
where did he say he hit it? That's just a blown call. That's a bad call.
That's a tap, isn't it?
That is just absolutely a blown call, period. He wasn't anywhere near his head and did not hit him in the head.
Touched his shoulder.
So that Mike Holmgren has that befuddled look again on his face. And I agree with him.
Raiders with another false start.
False start, 66, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
8th penalty. We are joined by Tony's sidekick. I'm pardon the interruption, Michael Wilbon. Welcome in.
Fun to be here.
Yeah, you like the stadium, don't you?
It's my favorite stadium, I think, other than the new Soldier Field in the entire NFL.
Oh, that's the oddest Chicago reference would come out that quickly.
I love this. The crowd, the stadium, I love this place. The rain.
After the Raiders' 8th penalty of the night, Jordan gets some of the penalty yardage back. Well, we were having this discussion a little bit earlier. The Raiders, it is, and Tony mentioned at the very top of the show with his opening, what we've seen from Al Davis over the 4 decades, the commitment to excellence and the performance of excellence by and large, it's very hard to see the Raiders that we all grew up with become the Raiders who can't score on offense now.
They don't resemble the Raiders at all, but there's got to be some transitory plan, right? Al can't do this forever. He shouldn't be expected to.
Walter from the 41 throws it to Alvis Whitted. It's complete. It's a gain of about 6 yards.
But you know, interestingly, Mike and I talked to Al Davis before the game. And Mike, you had asked him if he saw progress, and he said, progress? No. We want to win. Talk to me about winning. He wants, how many years does he have left? He wants to be good right now again. And Mike, it doesn't look like they're good right now at all.
Wanting to do it and being able to do it still are two vastly different things.
You have to have the people to do it.
3rd and 5. Seahawks only bring 4. Walter's throw is complete and then lost by Curry. It'll be an incomplete pass. Curry had it, went to the ground, and then it spit out as Jordan Babineau was back there. And it will be 4th down.
But to get back to Al Davis for a second, he's a giant over, he's pre-merger. He's been here forever in this league, done so many great things. First guy to hire a black coach, Art Shell, the vertical offense, the whole thing with the Raiders. And to see this for him, what do you think?
It's not the way you want to see Al Davis go out, just like you didn't want to see Joe Paterno go out the way that team was 2 years earlier.
Raiders going to challenge. Raiders going to challenge this. It was interesting to watch that play. It was just an odd-looking play because the receiver caught it, went to his backside, which would constitute being in bounds. Question is, does he have possession? How long does he have it? And what happens afterwards? So the Raiders challenge the ruling on the field of an incomplete forward pass. And we'll be right back.
Play football. In 2006, Carson Palmer returns to the Bengals huddle after sustaining a severe knee injury in the 2005 playoffs. Palmer led Cincinnati to its first division title in 15 years by hitting star receivers Chad Johnson and T.J. Houshmandzadeh. With their leader in place, Bengals fans can anticipate an explosive season on offense.
So you all right, Jake?
Well, don't you think Mum's been acting a bit weird?
I wouldn't worry about it, son.
Only Actimel contains the good bacteria LC Immunitas. Try it and see if you feel the difference.
NASN, the North American Sports Network, a new and exciting sports channel dedicated to the best in live North American sports 24/7. NASN is the best of live NFL, including the Super Bowl live, up to 175 regular season NHL games and the Stanley Cup Finals, comprehensive coverage of the MLB regular and postseason, and exclusive college football and basketball. With the best daily news, highlights, and analysis, NASN is your channel for the best in live North American sports. Visit NASN.com for scheduling, news, and information.
On the field, incomplete, challenged by the Raiders. Here's Bill Carollo with the verdict. Looks like it'll still be an incomplete pass. From the replays we saw.
After reviewing the play stance is called incomplete pass. The receiver dropped the ball going to the ground on his own. 4th down. Oakland discharged with a second timeout.
The Raiders, again, have the inability to hold on to the football to convert first downs has hurt them a lot in the second half. And again, 4th down and 5.
About the inability to hold on to a timeout when you need one with 2 scores down, 7.5 left. That backfired.
Takes him down to 1. 4th down, and this loud place gets even louder. Walters' pass deflected. Incomplete. Seahawk ball in Raider territory. Wasn't a sack, wasn't their 10th sack of the night, but once again, good pressure by Seattle.
That was a millisecond before the sack was coming. He barely got rid of that one.
He doesn't feel the pressure in the pocket. To his credit, he should move more.
Aren't you supposed to feel the pressure?
But you feel, Tom Brady, you stand tall and you slide in the pocket to find openings. But as things are flying around him, he stands tall and tries to get the ball down the field. That is an admirable quality.
And Joe, it's his 6th start. He didn't play it all last year. Comes out of Arizona State. But is that something he should be ready to do at this point?
Yeah, I think that's something encouraging to me. See him focus downfield, looking for the receiver, wants to make the throw. Don't know necessarily whether the guy was open or not, but
They had to get it out there halfway through the quarter. Seattle leading by 2 scores. They'll run it with Maurice Morris on the best running night of the year for the Seahawks. Let's go check in with Michelle Tafoya on the sideline.
Well, Raiders rookie strong safety Michael Huff took a hit to the head on their last defensive possession. He is questionable. You see that Seattle starting center Robbie Tobeck's back in the game. He had a sprained right knee, was questionable, but he is in there and playing, Mike.
Okay, Michelle, thank you.
See, centers, they're tough. Centers just don't want to come out. Guards go out, tackles go out. Not a lot of offensive linemen, but the centers, they just aren't allowed to leave.
They probably get paid by the play, so it's important to stay in.
After a gain of 6, Morris finds room for a first down. Kirk Morrison tackles him. Bill Pito tackles the Sports Center 30-30 update. Bill. Thank you, Bill. Sports Center coming on the way, and Chris Berman and company will have their post-game coverage from here at Quest Field.
Mike, I go back to the 4th down that the Raiders tried. They have a very strong wind at their back, and they would have been able to gain field position instead of giving it up like they did on that play. I mean, that 4th and 5, in my mind, was questionable from a game management situation.
Maurice Morris has gone over 100 yards here tonight. He is a back who Mike Holmgren, the coach, described, as you see his numbers, as not a 25-carry guy per game. But he has to be because of the absence of Alexander, and it's given him a career-high night.
And, you know, he's 180 pounds. He's excellent change of pace back, but when this is all you have available to you, you go with it, and Mike wanted to run the football.
Carry 26. Another first down to the 20-yard line. Howard the tackle. The Seahawks just stomping out the Raiders.
He's looking like he doesn't want to give up that job when a certain starter comes back, although he has to.
But he's going to have to.
He's going to have
when
to.
When the reigning MVP of the league comes back, Mr. Morris is going to have to sit down for a while.
But maybe he gets to play more often. I mean, Joe, how often would you put him in there when Sean Alexander comes back?
I think you run Sean Alexander 25 times. You spell him a little bit, but as many touches as Maurice Morris is getting, that's how many touches you want Sean Alexander to get. What I'm seeing is this offensive line looking like it's getting a little more comfortable playing together.
Floyd Womack returning at left guard tonight. Big help. And just to update for the folks who weren't with us earlier, Michelle Tafoya spoke with Sean Alexander on the sideline during the game. This is the 5th game he's missing. The X-rays done every Monday look as good as they have all year, and there's a chance he will play next week against St. Louis. And a couple of weeks down the road, they get Hasselbeck back from his knee injury when San Francisco.
It was odd with Alexander. It seemed like at the beginning it was day to day, and then it went month to month. He's out a lot longer than he thought he would be out.
They said the picture looks better. This is the best the pictures look.
The picture of his bone?
Yep.
Broken bone healing?
That's what Mike Holmgren, those are the pictures that Mike Holmgren's been looking at.
After 5 consecutive Morris carries, they hit it with Max Strong to the 11-yard line. Strong, whose moonlighting job this summer was an arena football analyst on TV. Would like to get into this business. Undrafted
well, we have another. Should have been a sports writer because we're getting into this business.
Oh, is that the whole circle of sports life now?
Should have been a sports writer, right?
We have another stool up here.
Or he could have been
only 4 of us.
He could have been an action actor. He could get in that way as Bosworth.
That's right.
He could be an actor with what were those references earlier, Tony? You and Christian Slater. You never saw those movies.
That sort of flew over my head for most of it.
Broken Arrow with Christian Slater's. I enjoy it.
3rd and a yard. And Morris is going to get there. Guys, get a little feel here as we get now to the halfway point of the season after this game tonight. If I had to ask you who's the best team in the NFL, would you say Indy with the obvious 8-0 best record?
Instantly with no hesitation. I don't know how you can't say Indy. And I know the defense is lacking some things, but you still have to say Indianapolis.
Boys?
I would have said until 2 weeks ago, I would have said Chicago. What Indy did, you go to Denver and beat Denver. You go to New England and you beat New England. They are clearly #1 at this point.
You go to New York, too. I mean, they went to New York and won there. So they won a lot of games on the road. And they have Peyton Manning. with that receiving core that has a lot of experience with him. That's the one thing Tom Brady doesn't have in New England.
First and goal, Morris to the 5-yard line. That should take us to the 2-minute warning.
What's interesting about that is in the NFC, beyond the Giants and the Bears, and now New Orleans doing well, there are so many teams have dropped to about 4-4. Carolina loses games, Minnesota loses games, Dallas loses games. The bottom of that is wide open, the playoff bottom in the NFC wide open.
With Seattle winning here tonight, you'll have 5 teams with a winning record in the entire NFC. And you say, what about the teams that are 500 or lower at the midway point? I'll give you a number when you come back about that.
Still have a chance, I think.
They do still have a chance. 2-minute warning in Seattle.
You can't wrap them up against allergies, but you can treat almost every allergic reaction with Piriton. Piriton, for the family's allergies.
Some people think the internet is a good thing. The most powerful educational tool the world has ever known. It's preserving our history, keeping the past alive forever. It's the only place where freedom of speech truly exists. Some people think the internet is a good thing. What do you think?
The NFL continues on NASN with a live triple header. First up, San Diego charge into Cincinnati to tame the Bengals. Then the Saints say their prayers as they take on the 2006 Super Bowl champion Steelers. And finally, it's open season in New York as the Giants trap the Bears in Giants Stadium. A live NFL triple header Sunday from 7 only on NASN.
Into your suite to enjoy the game, or stick around to watch SportsCenter with John Anderson and Steve Levy. Complete post-game coverage with Chris Berman and company from Seattle. The Colts won't stay perfect, so says Sean Salisbury. He'll tell us why. Tiger not a team leader. What the new Ryder Cup captain, our pal Paul Azinger, has to say about Tiger. He doesn't say Tiger's not a team leader. He says Tiger and team competition has an interesting dynamic to it. So you'll hear that on SportsCenter coming up. Second and goal out of the timeout. And Maurice Morris runs for a yard.
Didn't that guy have to get that costume back at some point? I mean, how is he walking from suite to suite being entertained by people around here just by wearing that costume?
Fans travel that way. Where you been? You better get on a plane.
He gets
on Oakland every
on a plane like that?
Illegal motion, number 38, offense. 5-yard penalty. Second out.
Does he get on a plane like that? Is that how Raider Nation travels?
Yes, travel that way.
Yes. Really, he doesn't have to be in a boxcar somewhere on the train with that? Really?
No. I mean, what? I think Halloween was Tuesday. It might be. Well, no, I guess it's not. My bad.
They are loyal and they are frustrated to see what the Raiders have become here over the last 3.5 seasons. They've won 15 games since they lost to Tampa in the Super Bowl.
The Raiders have to find some offense. They have to find some offense. Their defense is playing too well to not have something happen for them on the other side of the ball to give them a chance.
Second and goal from the 10. Max Strong gains about 6 yards there. Guys, we were talking about teams. Oh, there's a flag as a play was winding down, and Tyler Brayton took a shot, and
he's gone.
Been tossed.
He's tossed
from the game.
Well, there's something old and Raider-like.
That's stupid.
Starting to look familiar in some ways. These two used to be rivals for a lot of years in the AFC West.
There's frustration, and we'll see exactly what Brayton did here as this play was done.
Oh! Well, I think we know.
Boy, you can't. The new
personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 91, defense after the play is over. Half the distance to the goal, 91 is also ejected from the game.
They just threw another flag, too.
Who knows what was going on with Brayton and Jeremy Stevens as the game was going on. But not just from a football and a suspension standpoint, but from a manhood standpoint, that was lame.
Yeah,
lame.
Oh, he's got to be suspended
There's
for
your second
that.
foul on the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 61, offense. The penalties will offset. Number 91 for Oakland is still ejected from the game.
Robbie Tobeck in the retaliation scrum after that.
That has to be a suspension, doesn't it, when you knee somebody like that?
Should be.
Yeah, look at Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp's over there yelling at the Seattle bench. And the Seahawks' Ken Hamler are kind of gesturing back at them.
This is turned into a classless operation. I mean, it doesn't serve you any good to wave a team out and you have somebody do what Brayton did. I can understand the frustration of Oakland's defense after watching their offense play over the last 3 weeks.
Was unsportsmanlike conduct versus the unnecessary roughness.
But I can understand their frustration, but not the actions.
They're discussing now what down it is. Sapp was just trying to clear up the penalties. Did become offsetting penalties. It should be third down. That is correct.
I don't think Sapp was necessarily waving at the Seattle bench trying to figure out what down it was.
No, he wasn't. But when he had 3 fingers up and was looking, he was trying to tell the official they had the wrong down marker up. So,
by the way, that action, that knee, that's going to be shown on every sports talk show in America tomorrow 15 times, and people are going to clamor for suspension.
He's got to be suspended. I mean,
yes.
he will get 1 game. I'd make an example of him and give him 3 games.
Albert Hainsworth, does that come to mind?
He should have gotten more than 5. Did he get 5, Joe? Was that what it was?
Got 5, and I think
I'd
it was
give
fair.
him 10.
I think it was fair.
But certainly there'll be some interesting hitting on the line on this play, 3rd and goal. Players professional about everything that happened there. Fans want them to go for it, just to rub it in here for 4th and goal.
Joe, don't you think that tougher penalties would really dissuade? They would force you to think about doing something that stupid if you're going to hurt your team by being out more than some obligatory amount of games.
But we see players like Terrell Owens, for example, who doesn't care about the team being hurt by a penalty. So does it really matter?
The Raiders are taking a timeout. Seattle's going to go for it on 4th and goal. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Tim McCarver, inviting you to watch my show exclusively here on NASN, Europe's #1 channel for North American sports. Please tune in each week as I interview the biggest stars and sports legends. Don't miss Chevrolet's Tim McCarver Show right here on NASN.
We're playing San Diego. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, and puked in between. And that's when I knew it.
I felt like I was playing with little kids and I was a grown man, like Superman.
I ran the fastest 40 at the camp, and I was still 15 years old. So that's when I knew I was gonna be pretty good. Oh yeah.
More live Monday Night Football on NASN with an NFC South collision. Tampa Bay will be looking to pillage NFC South bragging rights as they lay their assault on Bank of America Stadium to battle the Panthers. Live and exclusive NFL, Monday late night at 2:30, only on NASN.
NFC South Carolina, one of the many teams at 4-4, still with a very alive chance to make it to the playoffs against the Bucks. 2-6, Bruce Gradkowski and company trying to get their season solved. Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Next week from Ericsson Stadium in Uptown Charlotte. Out of the timeout on 4th down, Mike Holmgren changes his mind and will go for the 20-yard Josh Brown field goal. Of course, the Raiders will try to block it, take it back the other way, a la the Redskins Cowboys yesterday. Plackemeyer, the punter, did a nice job getting that snap down. And it's the third field goal for Brown, 16-0 Seattle.
Here we go. We're going to have some awards because I got Wilbon here, Best Actor in a Leading Role. Who do you think it is, Wilbon?
I know
it's
you want to give every award
your boy,
to
Terrell
T.O.
Owens.
Nice job yesterday by T.O. letting the Redskins off the hook. Great catch.
Here he is at the Star. He's very happy. He's productive.
Tony Romo
Parcells
should have
loves him.
followed him down the sideline
That
in
one?
Washington,
That
screaming
one?
out. Yeah, that one.
You're angry at T.O.
No, I'm not angry. If a guy's going to run his mouth all the time and get in his teammates' faces, make the catch. He's dropped a lot of balls this year, and he cost him a game yesterday.
We go to another award, the Worst Actor in a Leading Role. And sadly, this is somebody we both like. It is Ben Roethlisberger this year. 1-6 as a starter, 14 interceptions, 7 touchdowns. Karma has gone bad for him. Your thoughts on Ben?
My thoughts are he should not have started that game after the concussion. Let him sit. I mean, you've got a really capable number 2 quarterback in Charlie Batch who'd won a game, who'd play well in relief in another game. Let him sit.
The interceptions, it's where, Ben, it's not the amount that bothers me as much as where he's thrown them. Yeah, you know, I mean, he's thrown 6 of those interceptions inside the other team's 5-yard line or in the end zone.
But Joe, does that suggest maybe he's not processing things?
He's trying too hard, Mike.
Okay.
He's trying to make plays. He's trying to dig himself out of this hole that he's got himself in. And in a case like that, you almost have to do less, not more.
Rashard Lee fields the short kick. Goes into the wind, and he's down at the 28-yard line. Remember, Roethlisberger had been virtually mistake-free in the red zone during that great run as a starter. So the Seahawks here, guys, get Sean Alexander back, they hope, in a week, if not 2. Matt Hasselbeck back in 2. They're going to get through this little bump here. They lost 3 of their last 4, but they'll be 5-3 after tonight, and 1 game clear in the NFC West.
Mike Holmgren made a point when we sat and visited with him. He said, I want to be able to steal one while my big guns are down. I don't think he stole one. I think this one was gifted to him. Next week, the St. Louis Rams will have their hands full defensively, and Jim Haslett's done a terrific job over there trying to figure out how to corral Seneca Wallace.
Seahawks defense trying to pitch the shutout. Buck 11 to go. And Andrew Walter to Randy Moss. Did he bring it in? It is ruled a catch at the 41-yard line. First down. Gain of 12. We talked about Carolina, 4-4, those teams that are 500 or under. Well, in the last 18 NFL seasons, in each season, a team with a 500 record or poorer at this point in the season, after 8 games, has gone on to make the playoffs. So if your team is 500 or below, there's still a chance. And there's a guarantee in the NFC, guys, because we have 5 NFC teams above 500 after week 8. So somebody at 4-4 below has to get in, since 6 get in.
I like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Over in the AFC.
I like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
They're above 500
David Garrard has given them a different dimension at the offense that's similar to what Seneca Wallace has done.
It's unfair. You have to play the game. The game is 500 or below now, right?
I'm still thinking.
Okay. We'll see Jacksonville against the Giants in 2 weeks on Monday night. Second down, Ronald Curry, former high school basketball player of the year in Virginia.
I still think Pittsburgh has a chance to make a run.
At 2-6.
At 2-6.
They're not even the best 2-6 team in the league, according to Roy Williams.
Yeah, but
who says Detroit, we are the best 2-6 team in the league.
Moss, second catch on the drive. First down to the 43-yard line.
You'll notice Randy Moss took his gloves off.
What about the Philadelphia Eagles after this bye week regrouping? They're 4-4 now.
Are you picking them?
I'm picking the Eagles to make a run.
In that division?
Make the playoffs.
In that division?
In that division.
Well, guys, as Moss catches this one, doesn't get to the end zone. The Raiders have played 167 minutes and 3 seconds in a row on Monday Night Football without scoring a point. And that is the longest such series in the history of Monday Night Football. The Raiders, who were once the kings of Monday night, have fallen on hard times. You saw Paul Allen, the owner. Seneca Wallace is back at quarterback, gets the win. Seattle leads the NFC West by a game, and the Raiders fall to 2-6. Michael, thanks for being up here, Mr. Wilbon. See you on PTI tomorrow. Sports Center is next with Michelle Tafoya. And for our colleague Susie Culver is back with us next week. Mike Tirico, Joe Theismann, Tony Kornheiser in the booth. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Seahawks win 16-0. Sports Center comes your way in seconds.
Does anyone see Rich?
He's coming. He's in the middle over there.
He's in the middle. Okay, they're on their way.